has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast to the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. Happiness comes. That has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Running fast for the edge of my life. Jesus saved me a time. Happiness comes so seldom. That has come to me. It is here in the Father's kingdom. It was there for me. You took me, and you washed away my sins. You washed away my sins.
You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network.
Pardon me. Let's see here. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've done this. Let's see. Where's my background? Why am I not seeing myself? Hang on, people. Sure. There I am. Hey, good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter here. Hope you're safe. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good start to the week. It's what time? What? God, what is today? Today's Tuesday. Wait, Monday. Today's Monday. That's right. God. So yeah, let me just get in this real quick. So I started a new job just under a month ago. Um, I've talked about what's been going on in my personal life and why I haven't really been streaming. Just because I've been really depressed because things have been really bad job wise. But with if you've heard, basically I've been out of work since 2013, December 2013, and so yeah, things have been real rough for the last couple months. But I'm really grateful that I got a new full time job that I'm starting to get the hang of. It seems like they like me, so I'm pretty grateful. But with that said, my schedule has been a bit in disarray. So I'm going to be on a set schedule here starting September. So I'll be doing streams, reviews moving forward, way more consistently. So you'll have new stuff each week. But yeah, it was rough there for a while. But I just want to thank anyone who was just cool to me that whole time, who was just had a kind word to say, or Venmoed me, or listened to a show. Like, you're all wonderful. So thank you so much for your support. But yeah, I'm back. Not tomorrow, Wednesday. I'll have a stream reviewing the Naked Gun, the '88 original, and the 2025 version, because my partner and I are going to go see that tomorrow. And then Friday, probably Friday, I'll have a review for The Bad Guys and The Bad Guys 2, because that's going to be the second movie we check out tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting caught up on reviews. So a lot of stuff will be hitting you pretty quick over the next couple weeks. So be ready for a lot of reviews. I still haven't watched Ironheart yet. Just to put in perspective how far fucking behind I am. I haven't watched Ironheart, and I had something spoiled for me, which I'm really pissed off that it was spoiled for me, but it's fine, whatever. But I'm excited. I'm excited to check out Ironheart, as I need to check out Eyes of Wakanda too. So I want to get caught up on The Boys, because I haven't watched season 4 of The Boys, because season 2 of Gen V is about to come out next month. So yeah, I think I reviewed Gen V season 1. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I'm 99% sure I did. But yeah, so I'll probably be reviewing Gen V season 1. Want to get a review of The Boys season 4, Knocked Out, and what else do I have coming up? Gonna have a review for Nobody 2 coming up next week. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming on the pipeline, y'all. I just got to try to get caught up on shows. There's a lot of shows I want to catch up on. But looking ahead a little bit before I get into Soapbox Corner, I'm still working on finalizing the Real Scary series for this year. I am going to watch the Evil Deads, at least the originals. I'm going to try to get through, what was it, 2015? I don't think it was even that early. I think it was, they've done several Evil Dead films, but I'm going to try to watch all the Evil Dead movies, including Evil Dead Rise. A lot of my friends are huge Evil Dead nerds, so, and just huge fans of it. So I want to check it out. I want to give it a fair shake. I've never seen the Evil Dead movies. I've never seen them. I know that's wild, but I've never seen them. So, if yeah, so I'm gonna try to watch. I'm gonna watch those. That's guaranteed. I'm watching all the Evil Deads, or at least the originals. I'm gonna watch all the Final Destination movies. Haven't watched those before, so I think, and I'm gonna see how much time I have. I actually might even start tomorrow to try to get ahead. But Um, the first, I want to watch all the Evil Dead films. I want to watch all the Final Destination films. Nick of the Afternoon Tune and Brandon, who we've had on the podcast, they have sung the praises of the Saw films about how much fun those are. So I might even review the Saw franchise. So between potentially reviewing Final Destination, all the Final Destinations, all the Saw films, and all the Evil Deads, that's a good amount of Halloween content. But I am going to try to sprinkle even more Halloween content this year. I'm probably going to start watching Halloween movies early next month, just so I can kind of be ready. But I want to review. I want to review Batman, Long Halloween, the animated films, part 1 and part 2. I'd love to review those. I wanted to review it last year, but wasn't able to. So there's going to be a lot of Halloween stuff, but I'm still working on finalizing the list. So I will. I'll let y'all know later next month when that's finalized. I'll do a stream to go ahead and review what's going to be reviewed in October. But with that said, let me get to my first review, which I'm really excited about. So one thing that I've really just loved this year, even though I am definitely playing catch up in terms of my film watching, because I just haven't been able to get to the theater. I'm so happy to hear that so many people were digging the movie Drop, which just came out earlier this year, March 9th, 2025. It's directed by Christopher Landon. And Christopher Landon, from doing Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. He did Freaky as well. That's right. So I gotta say, I have not reviewed Freaky yet. I've seen Freaky before. I fucking dig that movie a lot. That might end up on the list as well. Again, this is why it's so hard to do series each year, because I just want to review everything. But Christopher Landon is a hell of a director. I did not know he did Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was him. I heard definitely mixed things on that, but I've heard that for a lot of the Paranormal Activity movies. So, but big fan of him as a director. This movie stars Megan Fahey is what I'm gonna go with. I'm not sure how to say it. If that's wrong, I'm sorry. But you know her from White Lotus. I have not checked out White Lotus yet. That's another movie. That's another show I need to fucking watch. You also know her from Your Monster, which that's where I recognized her. I was like, wait a minute, why does she look for? Oh yeah, that she's Jackie in that. But really dig her as an actress just from the little bit I've seen her in. And to be honest, this makes me want to watch White Lotus more if she's in a good amount of it. But in this movie, she plays Violet, and she's a woman, widowed mother, who is trying to get back out there after the tragedy of losing her husband. And so she's like, all right, let's go on a date. She meets some guy. They don't say off Tinder, but it's essentially Tinder. So she goes ahead and meets this guy for their first date, Henry, who's played by Brandon Scalenier. You know him probably from It Ends With Us. He was also in 1923, the Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford show. Oh yeah, he was in Midway, that and Emily the Criminal. So he's been in some stuff. I will say one of the big things about this movie that, let me just fuck it. I'm not even gonna dance around this. I fucking love this movie. I don't know if it's gonna be. It'll probably be an honorable mention on my list this year. Because again, I'm gonna have a ton of shit I need to watch. But I kind of love everything about this movie except for one thing, and even the one thing I don't like serves a purpose. So let me just get into this. I think this movie is a masterclass in how you build tension. I love the way that this the thing about a movie like this is that one of the big questions that you'll probably have is, why doesn't she just call someone? And I mean that in the sense of, if you've seen the trailer, which, by the way, I hope you haven't seen the trailer. I saw one trailer for this, and to be honest, I almost wish I went into this completely cold. But even the trailer I saw didn't give like a ton away. And that's what I really like about this is that I think the colder you go into it, I think the more you might potentially enjoy it. But I was really happy to let this movie present itself and kind of go ahead and like teach me how to watch it. Like I really like the way this film presents itself. I really like the way that that Landon has a confidence behind the camera in terms of how everything is shot, that everything has a purpose to it. You can really tell he's starting to get into this gear where it feels like he's very confident. He knows exactly what the fuck he's trying to do in terms of being a filmmaker. It's interesting how you're seeing a lot of that in horror, like between him and like Jordan Peele. Like you see these Scott Derrickson. Like you see these directors who are really working more in horror, and it feels like they really are like continuing to elevate their game. I mean, I know some people hate on it. Fuck y'all. I think Last Night in Soho. I think what Edgar Wright has been able to do as a director, like, but it's a lot of those directors in that horror, ilk, and it's really interesting to see how Landon is continuing to develop his skills. There is a point in this movie, without spoiling anything, that made me so angry, but in the best way, because it shows how incredibly gross men can be. There's an introduction of a character that when you see this guy, it's just an immediate no, just get away from me. I don't want you anywhere fucking close to me. And the movie does a very good job of being a Twilight Zone film. And I've used that term before, but I mean it here as well because it really is like a whodunit. It's very reminiscent of Clue in that way, or like a murder mystery. I really love the way that the movie gives you these people that you think like maybe they're not anything. Oh wow, they're important. Maybe they're more important than they actually appear to be. And the film does a great job with several red herrings of really making you think it's going to go a certain way and this might occur, and then going ahead and completely pulling a 180 on you. Like the film's very good about doing that, and that really starts with Megan Faye's performance as Violet. Once you figure out what happened with her husband, so much shit makes sense. But it makes so much sense in terms of why she's nervous for her date. I mean, dating in 2025 anyway, Jesus, like, ugh. Who'd want to do that shit right now? God, dating's exhausting. Anyways, but it's really interesting to see the journey that Violet goes on and how she comes across one way at first. And she has this monologue about being strong and about some things that have occurred. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it's a response from this monologue that Henry has. And Henry lays some shit out about himself at a point that you just go, oh wow, I like this dude. I really hope nothing happens to him. The movie does a great job, and I mean this as a compliment, of fucking with you. It does several things within the film where you're like, oh come on, really? And oh, not this person. Oh no, not this. And the movie just keeps finding these ways to keep me, not just me engaged, but to keep me really interested. And also, I've talked about this too, about how I am loving the fact we're getting back to movies that are like 95 minutes, like under 100 minutes, but pardon me, but they're still great fucking movies. That was one of my big problems with The Brutal. It's just because a movie's 3 hours doesn't mean that it's a good movie. Just in the same way that a long book doesn't mean that it's a classic. I appreciate that we're getting back to these movies that are like an hour 35, hour 40, and we're not needing to push the shit to 2 hours. Just rewatching The Bad Guys, that's under 2 hours. It's like an hour 40, like hour 40, something like that, like hour 42. And I'm like, yes, Give me more of this. I want more movies to be like this. So Drop gets a little half star off that alone. Um, I don't have the I want to see if I can find out who did it. So the guy who did I don't have the cinematographer, but the cinematographer. Mark Spicer is his name. He's the cinematographer for Drop. Uh, to go from something, he's cinematographer in Fury 7. That's okay. That's actually pretty cool. I dig Fury 7. But he also did the cinematography for Escape Room Tournament of Champions, Family Switch, good lord, Fury 7, as I mentioned, Lights Out. So he's got some experience, but I will say this is like, it's sleek. The film looks sleek, but in a very intentional way. And it really makes the violence stand out without, again, spoiling too much. But I, the thing is, I can't really talk about this more because I don't want to get into spoilers. What I will say is that there are some great moments of tension in this cat and mouse game that Violet is playing with this person who, I mentioned it, I kind of danced around it, but someone, if you haven't seen the trailer, I don't want to spoil too much, but basically she is told that her son will be killed if she doesn't do what this stranger on the phone says. And the way that her phone is actually used as almost like its own character, because so much is happening because of the phone, versus some of the visual representation of what's occurring, like including stuff like text messages being shown on the screen, but it's done in a very like intense way that it ramps up the tension and it really makes you feel like, oh shit, it reminds you, you never forget how dire the situation is that Violet's in. And even while the movie does at points get comedic, there is a waiter in this movie. And I won't lie, y'all, this is the thing that I'm kind of going back and forth on, because there's this I'm trying to find the actor's name. Um bu- 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 um I don't have his name, but there's a guy in this movie who plays a waiter. It's this guy. I think it's Ed Weeks who plays Phil. You know him from LA to Vegas, 30 Sexy Funny. He's on the mini project. No wonder I don't like him. He he's this waiter in the movie, and he's playing the, oh yeah, have you heard the Gremlins? Like I've acted there before. Like he's being that like theater douchebag, and I get his purpose in the movie. Like I understand why this character is the way they are, given certain aspects that the film gets into as it gets to its conclusion. But god damn, he was just so annoying to me. And his humor, I really don't think you're supposed to like it. I do think it's done intentionally. I really do think it's done intentionally to be bad. So but I keep going back and forth on that, because I'm like, if you intended for it to be bad, then I mean, mission accomplished. Accomplished, I guess, great for you. But also, this waiter, as little as he's in the movie, he did enough to annoy me. So I'm kind of back and forth on it. But I will say, for me, when I got to the end of this movie, at the last third, it's awesome. The last third kicks so much ass. And I dug this. I really dug this. I actually went back and watched this again this past weekend. Part of it on my break. I dig this movie so much. And yeah, let's keep running back stuff like this. Let's keep running back like these horror movies. Yeah, let's have fun with this stuff. Um, but yeah, I dug this. I'd go A minus. I'd go A minus for Drop. It's on Peacock right now. I would highly recommend checking it out if you have not checked it out. Um, but yeah, I dug this. I dug this a lot. And like I said, I've watched it twice in the last week. So yeah, an A minus for me, from me for Drop. Pardon me, but yeah, I dug it. So yeah, A minus from me. So, all right, we are going to get to our final review for the evening. I might end up doing a morning stream too. We'll see how we'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But pardon me. But my final review is for the latest film. It actually also came out in March. Go figure. This latest, I wouldn't say horror film. I'd say like a thriller. But that film is Locked, which is directed by David Yarovesky, who you know from doing. Oh, did he do Brightburn? I think he did. I think he did Brightburn. He did do Brightburn. Interesting. Okay, so I will say Brightburn. Brightburn frustrates me because I wanted to like it more. I think Brightburn I think it just needed a rewrite. It needed to go through another draft or two because the kid in that movie, he does it. His turn happens so quickly from into evil Superman that we never get to see him as a good kid before he just acts a fucking fool. So so it's frustrating. It's frustrating on that perspective, but with that said, I do think Brightburn is well directed. I just wanted more from it. But anyways, so he goes ahead and directs this film. I don't see if he wrote. I don't see if he wrote it. Let me see. But anyways, this film, we go ahead and we follow Eddie, who's played by Bill Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård, of course, from a ton of shit, including playing Pennywise, and Barbarian, which I still haven't seen. I've heard several of my friends think I'll fucking hate it, which they'll probably be right. But Skarsgård from It Chapter 2, Nosferatu, which he's horrifying in. The Crow, which I have not reviewed, but spoiler, it sucks. Have not seen Barbarian. Think I might do that. And of course, one of my favorite films of 2023 in Boy Kills World. I fucking love Boy Kills World. But he goes ahead and he's playing Eddie. And Eddie is just he's this loser. Like, he doesn't have a job. He's a deadbeat dad. Like, it's hard to find a job right now, but you are being a deadbeat motherfucker. Like, he's never around. He's kind of like Dexter when Harrison is bored. He's just never around. He's always just out, hustling. But Eddie, he's struggling. He's trying to make ends meet, and so he goes ahead and he finds this SUV, this fancy ass SUV parked in a parking lot. And so he's just trying to get in there, find out if he can find something that he can steal. So he finds these I think they're Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses. He's like, oh shit, cool, let's go. So he goes to get out of said SUV and he can't get out. He's locked in, if you will. What's interesting about this is I would imagine what the pitch would be from Skarsgård's agent, where he would just be like, okay, you're basically doing like an audio book. You're basically doing a play with Anthony Hopkins, because that is one thing that I actually do appreciate. It's that it shows what a great voice actor Anthony Hopkins is, because Skarsgård and Hopkins, they don't share a ton of time on screen together. I think they share maybe 10 minutes, like maybe 10 minutes together on screen. Like, they are like, it really is them just basically having a Zoom call. I almost said Skype call. Who uses Skype anymore? But it's crazy. It's crazy how well it works, because not like this is Castaway, but Skarsgård, I know he's interacting with another voice, but this is so much a Skarsgård performance, because while Hopkins is saying things for him to react to, Skarsgård's the one who is acting like he's getting electrocuted. He's the one who is acting like he can't open his eyes up because he's so stressed out and exhausted. Like there's so much to Skarsgård's performance uh, from just body, as just acting with his body, that I think is really fascinating. That I think is actually probably a very underrated aspect of this film amongst critics, because Skarsgård really does have to carry a lot of those aspects of the performance without anyone else, and I think that's incredibly impressive. Now we got to talk about Sir Anthony Hopkins, of course, one of the best to ever step on a stage. The man is fucking brilliant, and it's crazy that Anthony Hopkins is. I mean, he's got to be 90, right? He's 87. Damn, like Anthony Hopkins has been doing this for a minute. Like, it's pretty wild that he's still acting. He's acting at such a pristine level. Like, I think people really do underestimate and undervalue to a point Hopkins filmography. I mean, you look at even something like Fracture in 2007. Look at something like The Father in 2020. The Two Popes was 20. He did The Two Popes and The Father in back-to-back years, one of which won him an Oscar. Like, Sir Anthony Hopkins, he's the fucking shit. People do not talk about how great Anthony Hopkins is nearly enough. I mean, outside of Denzel, it might be Hopkins as the best actor of all time. Like you could easily make a case for Sir Anthony Hopkins being like the greatest actor ever. Like it's a pretty easy case you could make too. But Anthony Hopkins, though, he's in his jigsaw bag in this movie. He is being a dickhead. He is being terrifying. He is mocking Eddie in a way that you're just like, damn, there's some very cruel intentions behind this. And I mean, obviously he says he's going to kill the fucker. So one thing I really dug about this movie is, as I mentioned, the cat and mouse aspect between Skarsgård and Hopkins, but also the fact that the movie gets so jigsawy. And again, I'm saying this as someone who I think has seen one Saw movie, but Hopkins just leans into it in a way, and he's a classically trained fucking actor. So even when he's reading this, these insane fucking lines, it is one of the best actors ever doing it. So you're like, okay, maybe I buy this a little bit, but you can tell that Hopkins and Skarsgård, it felt like maybe like they just kind of wanted to work together. I have no idea if that's true, if this was just some like, hey, let's do something together. But Skarsgård and Hopkins are both game for this. And I think that's really, at the end of the day, that alone makes this worth watching, because Skarsgård is playing pathetic and broken so well. Like, it does actually come across like he understands what a deadbeat father he's been. They talk about him kind of having a drug problem. They show his daughter, being left at school because he's too much of a loser to even be there on time. They show several things with him where you're just like, dude, you gotta get your shit together. Like, I know life is hard, but you need to be a fucking father. And his ex is over it. Like you see some of the shit she has to put up with, and you're like, yeah, I don't blame you either. I'd quit too. Like, there's just this point where, it just feels like he's never going to learn. And what's so interesting is that as Eddie is having this, this breakdown because at the hands of William, Anthony Hopkins' character, he realizes, of course, that, he may not get a chance to be an actual father and do it the right way. And it's really interesting how Eddie deals with the concept of death and the conversation William have about death. Like, there's a lot more going on under the hood of this. I think some people are going to give it its props for. Like I said, I really dug this, and I think that while the film does take a little bit to get going, once it does get going, I think it's very tense. I think there's just enough moments of gross out. There's a point where he has to do something, And like they tease it early on with Eddie, something that he would have to do, and the movie kind of goes away from it, but then they bring it back, and then he has to do it, and you're like, no, I knew it was coming. I didn't want to believe. I just didn't want. I did not want to see that shit. But what occurs, it makes the film so much more effective, and you realize the dire straits that Eddie is in. And what I will say too, and this is, I don't know if this is a complaint or not. It I do think that the film somewhat, and it's like I kind of go back and forth on it. Williams' whole motivation. Do you remember that movie Lakeview Terrace with Samuel L. Jackson and Kerry Washington and Patrick Wilson? You remember the reason that Samuel L. Jackson was like against this mixed couple was because his wife had slept with a white dude at some point, and that's like the reason he was stalking this fucking like newlywed couple. There is an element of that in terms of Williams' motivation for doing what he's doing to Eddie. That I just kind of went, oh fuck off, like, like I was just like, really, like this is your reasoning, like come on now. But I dug the performances so much in this. It's like how much can I ding it for that? So I the thing is, I didn't like this as much as Drop. I did like Drop more than this, but this is a very like, it's a weird way to phrase it, but this is a very cozy, kind of like thriller / horror film. There are some moments in this that of genuine horror. It's like, god damn, okay. But I think the film does a really good job of giving you, the ethical dilemma in terms of like your morality and like what would you do to survive. And it's a fascinating question that Eddie, is trying to answer. But it's a very interesting. I found this movie to be more interesting than I think some people will. But like I said, the performances alone, I think, make this at least a rent, like something you should rent or stream, because this is streaming on Hulu right now. So that's how I watched it. But yeah, I'd say this is a solid stream. Like movie that I would stream. Even if it was in theaters, I'd probably still stream it. But this is a solid. I'd go C+ on this. I think this is a very good. You know what? It's like right on that C+ B. You know what? I did enjoy this. Yeah. I'll go B-. B- for Locked. Yeah, it's a movie I enjoyed. I had fun with it. I don't think it'd be something I'd be like, oh, I need to watch this every Halloween, but it's a movie I could see myself throwing on again. And I did really enjoy where it ended up. So yeah. Yeah, B- for Locked. I was gonna stream a little more, but I'm honestly getting tired. But yeah, I think I actually might make. I think I actually might. I was gonna try to stay up till like. I'm gonna try to stay up till like 12:30, and yeah, I do not think that's gonna happen. But yeah, so I think I'm actually gonna get out of here before I pass out on y'all, because I'm actually feeling it. But yeah, so those are my reviews for Drop and for oh my gosh, and for wow, I see this is how tired I am. Those are my reviews for Locked and Drop. You can stream Drop on Peacock and then Locked on Hulu. So if you want to check those both out, I would definitely check them out. I would definitely check out Drop. Yeah, but yeah, one really great flick, one pretty good flick. But yeah, as far as what I've got coming up next, it'll probably have to be this Thursday, but I will have a review for AEW Dynamite. I'm actually behind. I didn't watch Collision last week. I actually got busy, so I'm gonna have to that'll probably be what I do after this. I'm gonna go watch Collision. but yeah, I'll have a stream for that. I'm gonna be reviewing Naked Gun, the original and as well as the 2025 version. I'm gonna do a little. I think I'm gonna do soapbox corner next time. I was gonna talk about something tonight, but I'll be real, y'all. I'm vibing. I don't want to go down an angry road this late at night. At least not tonight. So, but yeah, I'll have reviews for the Naked Gun films. I'm gonna be reviewing Portal to Hell, which is in this new horror flick, horror comedy. So I'm gonna be reviewing that. I'll review for Sovereign. I'll review up for that, as well as a review for uh oh my gosh. I'm blinking on what the other review is going to be. Never mind. But yeah, you also got check out twitch.tv/therealpineapple. That'll go ahead and give you my schedule. You can also check out The Real Pineapple on socials, Facebook, The Real Pineapple. Check me out on Instagram at jhunterreelpineapple. You can follow me on Blue Sky at realpineapple.bsky.social. You can hit me up on TikTok at jhunterreelpineapple. Like I said, gonna have more reviews coming down the pipeline this week. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, take care of each other, give someone a hug, give someone a compliment. We can all use more positivity. And never forget, as always, to keep it real. Thank you so much, y'all. Have a good night.